have to understand something. Gay.com was not always as sketchy as it is today.
Yes, it is.
I know, but they don't need to know that.
Well, don't lie to them about it.
Okay, then it wasn't where you went to find a boyfriend.
Or even a date.
Correct. It wasn't that Anthony was a stranger to me in the Suffolk M2M chat room. It's just I didn't think he had any interest in me.
Scott's profile picture made him look like a very straight-laced, well, with his Argyle sweater. And, I was, and still am, a very visibly modified black man.
Yes.
I didn't think he liked me.
I just come out of a relationship, so I made my way back into the chat rooms. I think it was me. Was it me?
No, it was me.
Okay. It was him. So Anthony wrote to me, and I remember him saying something like, "How's it going, Chief?" And we started talking. And it was great. I mean, he was funny, and
I still am.
it was not a typical online chat, let alone one you'd encounter on gay.com.
Such a sketchy website.
So, sketchy. But it was going great. I mean, you know, we didn't have any sex talk. It was very atypical for me at this point in my life. And then he said, "Tell me something you wouldn't tell someone you just met." So, weird. But nothing to lose, I said, "I have Tourette syndrome." And his response was not what I expected.
I told him it was my favorite neurological disorder.
Who says that? Do you know how hard it was to find someone who didn't even know what the word neurological meant on gay.com? It wasn't common. But it turned out he had a bit of neurological tick himself.
Blah, 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 blah. We spent almost every night together then every weekend together that year.
No. That's not what we were gonna do. I'm gonna say what happened. So, the next thing that happened was his internet cut out. And he hated that. And that was that. We hadn't exchanged numbers, we didn't save each other's usernames, and when he signed back on, I was gone. So he was convinced I was gone forever.
Oh, please, it wasn't that dramatic. I mean, you'd be boring your way back in the chat room. No time I have to interrupt you with some other slut the next time.
Okay, whatever. You were worried.
I was talking to a friend who actually knew Scott, and he gave me Scott's AIM, and would they know what AIM was?
AIM?
Oh, it's the messenger.
That's right, she knows she's old.
Anyway, I wrote him back that night.
And we exchanged numbers, and we talked on the phone, and made plans to have dinner and see a movie 5 days from then, which was Christmas Day. Do you remember? So, I went to pick you up.
With the goddamn shells in the backseat of your car.
They were dirt cheap.
They were huge. They took up the entire backseat and didn't leave your car for 2 months.
Anyway, I remember that night, the movie we saw, The Good Shepherd.
It's fucking long.
Yeah, and the only thing we remember about it was Joe Pesci saying the N-word, and the guy sitting across from us hacking up along the entire movie.
Yeah, that guy's dead.
I remember you put your hand on the armrest in between us. I wanted to hold it.
Yeah, but you didn't, so you're terrible.
Afterward, I drove us back to your house, and we sat in the car talking to one another for like 2 hours. I loved how all your rings looked. Plugs in your ears, rings on your fingers, the bridge piercing. Finally, you shut up for 2 minutes.
Me?
And I could ask, so are you the type that doesn't kiss on the first date?
What did I say? Did I make a joke?
No. You actually just responded. No.
Well, I had a good time that night.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I guess you were a good kisser because I'm still doing it.
I know. So then, he says goodnight, leaves the car, and because my parents have taught me well, I waited for him to get inside the house before pulling away. Followed the trail of interior lights through the house till he got to his room. And then the blinds parted. And I saw his silhouette. He waved. And I saw a text from him that said, text me when you get home so I know you didn't die.
Well, Wyatt and...
Instant fear. Mixed with my excitement. But I was mostly feeling excitement. And I drove away. That's how it was. Night after night. I picked him up, dropped him off. We had a little simple date just to get to know one another. Supermarket.
Extra Park.
And then, it was New Year's Eve, and you came to my friend's house party, and that's when you asked,
I'll just get it over with.
do you mind if we have a non-sexual sleepover? And I say, and in SSO?
Why not? Okay, we're so excited to talk about this.
And that's how it went. Every weekend, with few exceptions, you spend at my place every Wednesday, and we spend it together. The NSSOs turn to SSOs. That whole first year. Very intense. And 7 years later, we're still going strong.
And we're still going in chat rooms.
We've moved on from gay.com. But that's another story.